I had a lot of questions this week since the last video about Jan, and I've only talked to her once, and she was tired, you know, because she's doing this therapy. This was not the video I intended on making today, but I got a few answers to your questions and something my husband and I did yesterday. Yeah, so I'll get to it when I sit down here, but I thought I'd show you this dress right here because the other day I went to Helping Hands of Hope, and I talk about them a lot. I think sometimes I say Blessing Hands of Hope, Helping Hands of Hope, and Clinton. I had bought this dress, and I've been trying to try out my thrift store finds. It didn't have a belt, and I almost cut the belt loops off because I normally don't wear belts, and I had some scissors here, and I thought instead of doing that, I might just pull it around to the front or the back and just tack it and leave it on. That's where I'm at today. I should be outside in the garden. Yeah, finally no rain and I'm not out there in the garden. But anyway, I thought this kind of fitting for what I was going to talk about today. I guess that's what I was saying, that and the cat eyes. Yeah, if I was really going to go vintage, I'm going country vintage. How's that? Country vintage, not June Cleaver vintage. I'll never be June Cleaver. But for a while now, quite a while, several years really, I've been into a lot, well, several years, try 3 decades or more, into vintage items, and I stopped myself from purchasing a lot of them because I hate parting with the things I have collected. And so if it's vintage, more than likely, a lot of it, when it's especially kitchen stuff, and one of these days I may show you my coffee pot, and I might have a few teapots, but you know I'm a coffee drinker collection, and then just little pieces here and there, and a couple of pieces from my Aunt Lynn that were her aunts. So I have a couple of vintage pieces from that too. But, oh, I was going to say thank you for all the happy anniversary wishes. We had a great day yesterday. I did not turn on the camera one time. It was just me and my husband. And he wasn't feeling, you know, his best. It pulled a muscle. And I told him, I said, we could put it off. I didn't want to. I know how it is when you're not feeling good. I didn't want him to have to feel like he wanted to get out. And he said, no, we're going. So we did get, I did, steak and baked potato. And he got some barbecue ribs. And our bellies enjoyed it. And for the price, I say, Kenny, Wendy's Biggie Bags are calling our name. But, yeah, it was a celebration. And I was saying we don't buy gifts normally. And not anymore. I mean, sometimes we do it. Eli gets us a little something, but we have everything really, you know. So, but we had to stop at a thrift store. I had them stop at a Dollar Tree too, and I'll have a haul on that. I thought I'd do that one tonight, and I thought, no, I want to have some fun. But anyway, and I forgot. I was going to answer some questions. I'll do that at the end. That's how we'll do that. I'll put this here and hopefully it'll remind me. But anyway, we went to Finders Keepers. And they had a little thing outside with free stuff. Not only, I think the book's considered vintage. Let me see. Copyright 1981. Definitely. This is the reprint in 1994, which to me is still vintage, but 1981, which would be, what, 42 years ago, this book came out originally. And it's right up my alley just because I'm a true crime follower. And I have been ever since court TV days, before a lot of internet, and that I just thought, and it was free. At one time it was 25 cents and it was free, and I looked at it and I said, well, not that I needed it, not that I'll probably be studying it a lot. I thought it'd be cute in some of the videos I might do. I like these, I like it. And yeah, I tell my husband, he's just shaking his head. I said it tells you investigative photography, notes and reports, crime scene sketches, searches, physical evidence, obtaining information. I might need that. I think in one of my declutter hauls, I had showed a magnifying mirror and I hung on to it and I had it in my thumbnail, and I thought, Angie's investigated utterly chaotic investigations. Yeah. Tracy, if you're watching, I'm not going to give your last name, but if you're watching, I cannot think of her channel name, and she has not posted in for so long, I know. I'd have to go over to Facebook, but Tracy, you know who I'm talking about from the Heartland Homesteaders Picnic. I met her years ago. We both are, years ago, true crime followers, and we like to follow the same type of stuff, and we talked about, sometimes we thought about getting into character and be investigative. Well, if you're watching, I'm hoping you come to the picnic on the 9th. That way we can get our investigative skills going. But I said all that to say this. I was laughing at myself because when I went in the store, I was investigating. I pretended in my head I was investigating. Not my husband and not people, but items. And I had a goal in mind. And one of the goals I achieved, whether, I know price-wise was fine, but the memories are even more. You can kind of say it was like my anniversary gift to myself, which my husband did the same. We went shopping. I don't have his items sitting here. I just have mine to talk about. And if I don't hurry up, guess what? You're not even going to see them. But you know, the vintage cookbooks and stuff, when I've been decluttering, those are one thing that I hang on to. And one thing I'm always on the hunt for. I found the Casserole Cookery, favorite recipes of ESA Women Internationals, and like a lot of you said too, a lot of the church cookbooks and any kind of organization cookbooks, and only even mentioned, I think, was it Eastern Star? It was a women's group, had cookbooks, and she said, I had them, but I don't know what happened to mine, but I knew it, either it had to present vintage by the photography. I'll get it right. I can't be an investigator if I can't talk. But and it was just pretty, and it tells you different things, and the recipes were fairly good. But see the pictures. Not all cookbooks have pictures like this, but this one did, and I paid $1 for it. And the year, cheesy hamburger macaroni dinner. Sounds like homemade hamburger helper. Easy. It's hamburger, onion, chili powder, salt, pepper, tomato sauce, macaroni, and shredded cheese. Easy recipes. Am I ever going to get all of these cooked up? No, but I hope to at least do a recipe out of each one for you all. And especially this winter when I'm not out talking about my garden or we're out running around doing stuff. Let me see. I was just going to kind of look and see if I've seen the date. I got to move on because this video's getting too long. Let me see. It may not have. Dear Homemaker. I would think if you said homemaker, I don't know if they even said homemaker in the 80s. 60s and 70s maybe. I'm not sure about the 80s. But they had black and white too. So I don't see a date on it. I'd probably have to do more research. Let me see, is that a... They did have this in it. Must be like where you can order from, so I could probably research who did it. I like it when they have notations or you find scraps of newspaper clippings that have, what do you call it? Recipes on it. So Casserole Cookery, don't know the date. And that's their insignia, I guess, on the back from the ESA Women International. Is that Eastern Star? Omi, is that Eastern Star? No, I don't see a star in this one. So I don't know what that'd be. Anyway, a good cookbook. And they winded up having all kinds of little books. So I had to get these. Well, I didn't have to, but I did. Recipe, gifts, jars for cakes and cobblers. Look at that little book. And it has a print right there. Is it vintage? I don't think it was. We'll have to see. But I had to have that one now because I'm going to start doing more of the homemade gifts. The writing, the font on it looks vintage. And I like that you can cut out the tag, or you can take this to your printer and make your own tag with them. I wouldn't cut it out. None of these were cut out that I know of. But let's see when this book was made. 2004. 19 years ago. Close enough. I got some recipes in a jar, but they're newer and I won't get rid of those either. Got it for 50 cents. Recipes, gift jars for breads. So it's where you can do up a bunch of bread. Variety of delicious bread, muffins, biscuits, and scones. And it was also 2004. But gingerbread muffins, apple muffins, yeah, 50 cents. I thought these are neat little books to have, especially if you're wanting to start doing gifts in a jar. This little cookbook kind of intrigued me just because of the picture. It said, A Little New York Cookbook. And it was illustrated by Susan David and Barbara Block. It looked vintage to me just from the outside. And 1991. So, what, 32 years ago. 1991. So it is. Hard to believe 1991 seems vintage. I've got so much more right here to go through and some exciting treasures right here to go through, but I've let this video get too long. So, I showed you kind of the gist of what we did yesterday. Well, told you. Dollar Tree. Well, eat. Dollar Tree. Michelle's. Finders Keepers, which is what I'm on now. A few thrift store goodies on our anniversary. And, but I got more talking to do and getting along. So, What I think I'll do is cut it off here, but I'm going to answer a couple of your questions. And one was when I showed these Dollar Tree rings, Canon metal rings, and the lids. I haven't used this lids for Canon. I just use them like for shelf storage, you know, to put dry goods or even in the refrigerator. I've not tried Canon with it, but I do know that from what I remember when I talked about these ones before, I believe Homestead Tessie has a video on it where they all worked. And so if I find the link or you want to go over there, I believe she had a video on using the Dollar Tree lids. I'm pretty sure. And I just got these, so I don't know how they're going to hold up, but I figured for dry storage because I got rid of a lot of my odd jars and want to use my ball jars for stuff like that. So that's the best way I can answer that. You can YouTube it, or I'm almost sure Homestead Tessie had a video on those. And I've had a lot of questions this week since the last video about Jan, and I've only talked to her once, and she was tired, you know, because she's doing the physical therapy and occupational therapy and stuff. I have tried to get a hold of her 2 or 3 more times, but a lot of times you can't. I don't know if she doesn't hear the phone or if the ringer's turned off, or she may even be out of the room, so I try different times of the day. People ask what Jan needs, and I was actually going to ask her to tell you, and I will once I get to talk to her. I'll tell you. If she tells me anything, I know what she'll tell me. She'll tell me I love all of them, and all I need is prayers. That's what she's going to tell me. Prayers. And and maybe you can go to her last video and leave her some comments, and when I talk to her, I'll go check it and see if people have, or you can leave them here under these, and I'll tell her so she can, when she fills up to it, maybe read some of your comments, because I don't video when I'm with her. You know, she's been sick for a while now. I don't take pictures when I'm with her, because you know, when you're at your lowest and you're trying to get yourself put back up, and I don't know where she's at, but I know where I've been before. You don't want cameras in your face, and she's weak, so she really doesn't feel like doing a lot of talking. So I had put her address in another video. I'll try to remember to put it in this one too, to send her cards, and I'll tell Kaylin to make sure her mom gets them. And I don't, unless I get permission to share the address where she's at, and I don't have that, so I'm not, you know, I can't do it. I hope that answers some of the questions that I have seen under my comments. I want to thank a lot of you that comment every single time. I do read them, and I appreciate them. I notice some say new subscriber, and I appreciate all of you all too. I'm just someone that whatever hits my brain like it did today, investigative engine, chaotic investigations. That's what it is. That's my thing, chaotic investigations. I like doing, and sometimes I hope that I can bring a smile to somebody's face. If you laugh with me or laugh at me, that's fine. And I'll get off of here, but if I get unwinded, I'll come back and I'll do a part 2 on what we got yesterday and why I got some of the items I got. And I may be in this one, or I may try another one. We'll see. And until next time, we'll talk soon.